Atlanta Augusta Wilson, or Lanta as her family called her, was born July 19th, 1856 at Castine, Maine. She was the youngest of four daughters of the Reverend William Jones Wilson, a Methodist minister, and his wife, Sedelia Abigail Follett Wilson. As a child, she moved often to different places in the state of Maine. Then in 1866, the family moved to Wisconsin. Then in 1872, the family moved to Overton, Dawson County, Nebraska. And by 1876, the family had returned to Wisconsin. It was here at Chaupiere, Wisconsin, that Lanta met and married Charles Harley Smith, June 18th, 1880. Charles wanted to be a teacher and accordingly, after his education, accepted a position as a school principal in Rockton, Illinois. Well, the Smiths were only there a short time when Charles went into business for himself and moved to Parker, South Dakota around 1882. Then in late 1885, Charles Harley Smith was on a business trip to Lincoln, Nebraska, when he felt the call to enter the ministry. His call to the ministry became so definite and imperative that at Lincoln, he went to a presiding elder and made known his conviction and decision, wrote his colleague, the Reverend Dr. Edward Carey, in 1921, and was immediately sent further west on a trial trip in preaching, and souls were converted, and our brother no longer conferred with flesh and blood or business. End of quote. Well, from that point forward, the Reverend Smith became a traveling preacher and pastor. He was sent to organize a circuit near Plankton in the Dakota Territory. Bass continued, Brother Smith knew the work on the frontier. He knew the prairies when few of the millions of acres had felt the plowshare, when the wolf and the rattler were not uncommon, when civilization had only begun to make habitations there. While yet a supply preacher himself and wife were almost constantly on the road among the 8 neighborhoods which he organized as Plankton Circuit, holding revival meetings for 11 weeks in schoolhouses with 4 or 5 services on many a Sabbath to save time and meet his appointments, eating his lunch as he traveled and occupying rooms where walls were thickly frosted. End of quote. Biographer Brett Nelson made this telling statement about Lanta Wilson, quote, due to the itinerant nature of her husband's profession, Lanta Smith never lived in any location more than a few years. As the daughter of a minister and now the wife of a minister, Lanta said of herself, quote, I did not inherit public oratory, and am perfectly satisfied to do all my preaching with a pen, end of quote. Oh, and preach she did. It is estimated that Lanta's poetry resulted in more than 500 hymns in her lifetime. It seems appropriate, therefore, that Atlanta Augustus Smith, the traveling preacher's wife, who scarcely knew a permanent home most of her life, should be the soul inspired to write these cheering words. Quote, in a world where sorrow ever will be known, where are found the needy and the sad and lone, how much joy and comfort you can all bestow, if you scatter sunshine everywhere you go. Scatter sunshine all along your way, cheer and bless and brighten every passing day. End of quote. The Lord Jesus Christ asked his disciples to be the light of the world. Whose darkened world can you bring light to today?